Hey everybody, welcome back. In today's episode of Raising Unicorns, the Super Bowl ads are competing for our approval. Find out which ads stuck out to us and why. Successful businesses come in all different shapes, sizes, and animals. On the Raising Unicorns podcast by Harmon Brothers, we share the video marketing gold that has helped companies of all shapes and sizes grow by hundreds of thousands to hundreds of millions of dollars in sales. So if you've got a business and you're ready to use video to scale it, this episode was crafted for you. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Raising Unicorns podcast. I have myself, Shane Rickard, and our special guest, Ryan Todd Powell. Yesterday was the Super Bowl 57, between the Chiefs and
the Birds.
The Eagles. And the Eagles lost. Sorry, Eagle fans.
Not sorry.
Yeah, Ryan wasn't sorry. I'm sorry, because I really didn't care that much about either one of them, but I thought it was just a great game. But as we all know, there are millions and millions and millions of dollars spent on commercials for
millions and millions
of dollars spent on commercials. And so at Harmon Brothers, we always like to look at the Super Bowl ads and evaluate them and kind of talk about them. We always do it in our weekly meetings after the Super Bowl, as I'm sure most advertising agencies do. And we have 4 different criteria that we evaluate people's creative when we go into clients that we're potentially working with. And we're looking at their creative and assessing what they've done well, what they could improve on, or where we think we could come in and help them. So those 4 criteria are, first and foremost, is it sticky? And what we mean by that, if you've read the book by Dan and Chip Heath, it's called Made to Stick. It's a book that talks about like what really good like marketing and advertising campaigns consist of elements that make a concept very sticky and very memorable, like it sticks to you like duct tape. So that's one criteria. The other is how engaging is it? And sometimes people confuse those two, because some things that are sticky and stick with you can be engaging as well, but just because something is engaging doesn't mean it's memorable. There's a lot of crap I watch on Instagram and TikTok that I'm like, this is engaging, but I forgot about it 5 seconds later.
Yeah, it sucks you in at first, and in the moment you're very engaged, but then later it's gone.
Couldn't tell you what it was about, couldn't tell you anything. Yeah. And then the third one is obviously, does it make you want to buy the product? That's a huge one. Does it sell? Like, does it make you want to be like, I want to buy that thing? And then the fourth one is, does it make you want to be part of that brand's tribe? Does it make you want to be part of that group, or like, oh, they get me, I identify with them, or I want to be part of that group because it seems like awesome. Like every time I watch an Apple ad, I'm like, yeah, I'm a creator. I want to dance like with all my music stuff going on and do stuff because I'm creative.
On your walls and partying, and who was that?
And I just Spike Lee, and I walk through and I'm like, I buy HomePod, so I'm artistic. I love this. Take my money, Apple. Those are the 4 criteria. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through kind of our good, our okay, and then ones we think are bad. And we're going to talk about them and kind of go through the different criteria and why we think they're good and why we think they're bad.
All right. So this is not a list encompassing every single ad, but these were just some of the ones that we wanted to highlight. I think one of my absolute favorite ads was Adam Driver's Squarespace campaign, or the campaign with Adam Driver. There's a couple different spots that they did with this campaign. I thought they were hilarious. There's 2 that I'm thinking of. There's the one where there's like multiple versions of him. He's on set, he's working on something that he's shooting, and he's being interviewed. So that one was extremely sticky and engaging for me. And I think it did sell Squarespace pretty well. Like, it made me want to go check it out because I might need a website sometime. I was curious about it. I mean, I've heard of Squarespace a lot, but maybe in the back of my mind at best.
I think it's one of those ones, like, it's interesting with the brand tribe. Like, do you want to be part of the brand tribe? Anytime I see a company that like swings for the fence on creativity, I'm like, oh man, I respect that.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was a little bit softer on the sales side because I was like, oh, this is interesting, but I don't know how it relates to like the website, like building capacity of it. That's like the only thing I would say is like, but otherwise it was super sticky and Adam Driver was super funny in it. I thought it was really, really well done.
That's true. It wasn't heavy on the sales side. I think it did a great job of making you want to be a part of that tribe.
And it was super engaging.
Everybody likes Adam Driver, right?
It's just a funny guy.
I had this criticism last year also, but basically there are very few ads during the Super Bowl that don't rely on a celebrity appearance or a hit song or some sort of like pop culture element or nostalgic element.
Mm-hmm.
There's very few original ads that you see nowadays during the Super Bowl. I still enjoy a lot of them that use the celebrities and stuff. And so like I see why they're using them, but I'm just like, you guys have massive budgets. The world is full of amazingly creative people, creative writers. So why can't you swing for the fences a little more?
It's funny because like people think our ads are expensive, and a Super Bowl ad is like exponentially more expensive than a Harmon Brothers ad, which by the way, we have campaigns that range as low as like, $20,000 going all the way up to like, big, huge campaigns that are a year-long contract for like over $1 million. These guys are like talking like $3-4 million for
millions
productions.
and millions
Because you got like
and
the
millions.
buyouts and the linear TV rights plus the actual billions and billions. The linear TV buys are insane. Because Ryan, you looked into it for Skull Shaver for doing a national one because they've talked about that. And they did a regional one this year. Congratulations. Ryan was the creative director on that one. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, you were too.
Well, we both worked on it.
worked
But
on it, yeah.
it was your baby. Let's be honest.
I did almost everything.
You looked into it because you actually reached out to Fox and you were looking at what it was. And then you looked into NBC because you were looking for next year because all the buys have been purchased,
yeah,
right?
I got the years wrong. And they were handling the World Cup this year. I guess last year now.
Yeah.
But yeah, they rotate. Yeah, so I think they were saying the average Super Bowl spot, just the airtime was like, it's like $6.5 million if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, for a 30-second, I think.
Yeah. Don't quote me, but it's something like that.
It's tremendously large. Like, and if you're spending that much money, to your point, it's like, can't you get some like really good original creative?
Yeah.
I do wonder if it's kind of like the Marvel thing a little bit, or like studios are so scared to like invest any money into anything that's original.
Mm-hmm.
They just want to have a tentpole franchise or IP backing it up. It's like, let's just rehash Marvel, or let's rehash Lord of the Rings. Let's rehash, like,
and
you know.
I get it. I get it. It's like, it's a business. They want to be safe. They want their investments to be safe.
But my gosh, there's so many good creatives out there. Like
there are. And it's like, I think me and a lot of other people are going to respect people that make original content a lot more than the ones that are just, these are the type of people that are making the reboots and the remakes all the time.
Yeah. Well, I think too, it's like, honestly, at this point, that is breaking the pattern of having an ad that doesn't have
you're going to stand out more
in it, especially if it's good creative.
Yeah.
Like, oh, dang, that was good.
Which I'm going to take as a segue into one of my favorite commercials from the Super Bowl, if that's okay.
Yeah, go for it.
But it's the Peanuts one, the roasted peanuts.
So
the
good.
Planters. Yeah, I love that. It was just, there wasn't a celebrity. There was no like hit songs. It was just this really clever concept where Mr. Peanut is getting roasted like a comedy roast. And
there were actually
there's a couple really good jokes. Yeah.
I like that.
And he's like, oh man, I wish they would have
killed off my character again.
Killed me off again.
It's like, let's get back to ruining some brownies over here.
Yeah. Don't you have some brownies to ruin? Yeah, that was like my favorite joke there. Big fan of your work in Thai food.
Yeah. Or like there's Rich, and then have been wearing pants for 100 years, Rich.
Yeah.
Like, it was just good, clever writing. And it was around the spokesperson that's very, very memorable and sticky. You like the product. You're like, oh man, I like those guys.
Yeah,
That was clever.
And to your point, like when I saw that and it didn't have those other things that I've been complaining about, I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, I'm going to remember that.
Yeah.
You know?
It's true.
Another one was the Miller Lite, Coors Light, and Blue Moon combination. Like they did that.
That was brilliant.
That commercial with all three of them. You want to talk about that?
They started off with like, for the first time in 30 years or 20 years, Miller Lite is doing a Super Bowl commercial. And it's like, no, Coors Light is doing it. And it breaks into this like amazing fight between these two dudes holding these two beers.
Yeah.
And it's like pretty well choreographed. It's pretty intense.
Yeah.
And so you think for sure, it's like, oh man, this is like two competing or beer ads like fighting for each other. I'm like, this is a weird collaboration. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, you're wrong. It's a Blue Moon beer commercial.
Yeah, you're both wrong. It's Blue Moon.
and we found this out. We might have to fact check this, Keith. Can you fact check this for us while we're talking about it? Like one of our creative team members this morning was like, all three of those beers are made by the same company.
Which makes sense.
Which is like brilliant. People are talking about it, like just the good twist and turn of defying expectation.
Yeah.
It was a good turn and it made me laugh out loud when I watched it.
Fantastic ad.
Yeah.
Fantastic ad. Those
and it made for 3 different brands, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
It was very, very inventive, very surprising. Yeah, it was shot so well. Great choreography.
It was
no hit
sticky.
Songs, no celebrities.
Nothing. It wasn't like selling me on it outside of like, it's like, that was funny. And I like my companies that I buy products from to be funny.
Yeah. And I think, and most people... Yeah. And that's the power of comedy and advertising. And then I thought the Doritos one was pretty great with Jack Harlow and him like becoming like a triangle musician.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty funny. I love.
But I don't think it's funny because of Jack Harlow. I just think it's funny because the concept.
Oh no, yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's why I think it's great.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they did have celebrity in there, but it was a very clever original concept.
Yeah, it was very original.
Yeah, they put it to good use. They put his position of being a musician to good use.
Yeah.
And then even like Elton John showed up. And then they had the award ceremony at the end, and he doesn't win being the best triangle player, even though he's
musician of the year.
Yeah.
The tag on it was really, really good. It's like try a new angle. Like and it's got the angle of the Doritos is like the try a new angle. It's like a new Doritos flavor, which I thought was like brilliant.
Yeah. And then they had to play on like it's a love triangle at the beginning or something, something like that. Yeah. Very original ad.
Super original concept. Really, really well executed. The other one that we had here is the Breaking Bad ad for Popcorners, which I'm going to just straight up admit this one was not original. It was literally just reshooting scenes from Breaking Bad. And since like Breaking Bad was like arguably the greatest television show of all time, and we like all want more of it, and everyone's like going through withdrawals now that like Better Call Saul is over. We're like, aw, because that show's been over for 10 years. 2013 is when it finished.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while, but I do think they use that very well.
All the scenes fit very well, and like when they were cooking in the camper, and like when they were like actually with the deal with Tuco, all the different the tie-ins with the product was very cleverly written. So it's like, oh man, that was good.
That's a differentiator there. It's like you can use celebrities and like these nostalgic pieces of pop culture, shows, movies, whatever, in really good, clever ways, and I think that's the way to go. But there's other ones where it's just like, okay, we've got this, whatever concept, let's just pop a celebrity in there, and people love that celebrity, and it's just gonna sell.
I can't imagine. I mean, maybe they just paid Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul just obscene amount of money, and the guy who plays Tuco is probably like, yeah, I don't have anything going on because Better Call Saul's wrapped. It's a lot easier to get someone like Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul on board with something like this because they're still very much like in demand as actors because it's a good concept. When the concept is really, really good, you can get really good celebrities.
As soon as it started, I just started laughing to myself. So I know those two had to have just loved it, right from the start. It's
very funny.
Jesse being revealed by that really cool, very Breaking Bad camera angle, like looking up through the tray.
Through the glass. Yeah.
Classic.
So now we're going to go over some ones we thought were particularly heinous in terms of just missing the mark, wasn't funny. And we'll talk about why we think it was just off. So the first one we have here is the workplace rock stars. And it's like playing off the trope that people call each other rock stars and that the actual rock stars, like Ozzy Osbourne and Gene Simmons. Was it Gene Simmons from Kiss? Yeah. And a couple others.
Billy Idol.
Legitimate rock stars.
And I love all of these artists. Yeah, I love classic rock. But man, I don't know. Something about this commercial just fell flat for me.
I can't even remember. Do you remember what the ad was for?
Yes, because I looked it up and made a point to remember it so I could talk about it.
Yeah, okay.
I think it's workplace.com, right?
See, this is not a good sign in my mind. So it's for Workday. I don't even know what Workday does. I don't know what Workday does. Especially where a company like this, where they don't have like general marketplace awareness of what they do. A beer company like Miller Lite or Coors Light or Blue Moon, we all know those brands. We all know what they do. Or
been around
their
forever.
Product are. They've been around forever. They have enough marketplace awareness that like they can do that. Like Workday, I don't know what they do. And being a finance and HR rock star, is it like outsourcing or fractional like HR people? Like what is it? Is it a tool for HR positions? Like I don't know. And the ad didn't do anything to clarify that at all.
No.
So I feel like when you're at a certain level, you just can't get away with executions like this without people just being like, I mean, I get it that people call each other rock stars in offices, but that doesn't really help me.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, that's a little clever quip that they have in there throughout. It's that's that thread that goes through it. And it's like, okay, it's clever. I like that, but
I don't get what else I'm supposed to take away from this.
Yeah, what am I supposed to get out of it?
Hold on. Did you see the Ram EV one? This was an interesting one. I thought that the copywriting was like really, really on the edge for a lot of people. Like where it's talking about, premature performance.
A lot of penis jokes.
It's funny because it's like not being able to go the distance and like not being able to like have enough like energy to go where you want to. It is like, I feel like for me, I was like, this is actually pretty clever because that is a legitimate concern. Being able to have enough like charging stations and being able to go. I think this is a very memorable way. The only thing criticism I can say on this on the sales side is they actually said that like the very end, it's like with options for extended range. Like I wish they would have had something saying like range is up to 600 miles or something like that, where it's like, oh dang, I don't know
specific.
if I could like a concrete claim in it where I don't think I could compare it against the marketplace, but otherwise it's just like, oh, just extended range. I don't know what that means to RAM. I'm like, if that means like 300 miles, does it mean 350?
Because what's far for someone might be not very far for someone else.
In mileage.
I wasn't trying to be funny.
I know, and it felt like it bit too much.
I'm just funny.
I'm just funny. I don't even mean to be funny. I just say funny stuff. That one was actually one of the surprising ones. I just wish that like I don't know if it's just because they can't make the power claim. They literally said like it ranges up to 350 miles. Because like that's like, I feel like the breaking point where people are like, oh, every 350 miles, if you do that by like 70, what is that? That's like, it's 5 hours of driving essentially, right? If you're going 70 miles an hour, that's when you want a meal. So it's like an easy thing to be like, oh, we'll go to the charging station, we'll plug in. You know what I mean? It's like an easy like mental thing to go through.
ago.
But I feel like it was like, oh, it's just so close. But then they just didn't. And my guess is the agency wanted to be more specific and be like, ranges up to 400 miles or whatever, 350 miles. But they were like, we don't know what those are. You know what I mean? So it's just too bad because it felt like it was this close. But it was still a funny ad.
Great, very memorable ad.
Very memorable. Back to the bad. Back to the bad. What else we got here?
Up front, I'm going to state, I love Maya Rudolph. I think she's hilarious. I love her in everything she's in, except for this ad.
The clams.
For M&M's.
Oh my gosh.
I just didn't get it, man.
Because I had the same thing. I watched it. I'm like, I don't get it.
I just wanted to stop watching it.
To me, the reason why this doesn't work is because we've done a bunch of food commercials at Harmon Brothers over the years, like for Taos Bakes. We've done it for Camp Chef. We've done it for Kodiak Cakes.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we have had a lot of food products. And I feel like anytime, we've nixed a ton of jokes, that anytime there's any type of gross association with it, because it's at the end of the day, you're selling a product for the food. So you don't want to have a joke in there that puts people in a bad taste in their mouth and they're meant to in their mind. And chocolate covered clams, I'm just it's not funny enough to justify. I feel like it has to be either the funniest freaking commercial I've ever seen to justify basically taking something that has a positive association with a chocolate candy and then inserting something disgusting. It better be a heck of a lot funnier than that.
Absolutely. I think it was a total miss. And I'm sorry, Maya.
It's just a shame because I feel like she's so unbelievably talented.
She's so funny.
And she's so funny. It's such a squandered opportunity with, I think, mediocre writing. And maybe we're just not getting it. It's more meta.
Maybe.
We're just too old.
Maybe we're so old.
We're just so
we're
old.
In our 30s.
Just was a total miss for me. Feel like it didn't make me want to be part of the brand. Kind of gross. Didn't sell me on the product at all. It wasn't funny enough. It was sticky in a bad way, I would say. That I'm going to remember that as man, that was a total miss. Was it supposed to be playing off of the M&Ms are gone now because they got canceled? Because they changed. Remember that whole thing?
Yeah, I'm assuming. That's what I assumed.
Because the M&M at the end comes in with the sign that says help. And so I don't know. It's too esoteric and too much energy for a commercial. I don't want to research this to understand your joke. And I feel like we're in tune with that. I remember even reading the stuff about the canceled M&Ms and I still don't think it's very funny. So
this one, I don't even remember that much. There's the Michelob Ultra Caddyshack. I don't know if you thought that was really bad. I did not like it.
I just think, again, it's a remake of a show. And it's hey, we did a parody of a movie from the 1970s, Or was Caddyshack? It was
I think it's
1970s.
70s. I think it's 70s. And Bill Murray's not in it, in my opinion. The only good thing about Caddyshack is Bill Murray. I rewatched it recently. It does not hold up, in my opinion. And except for the Bill Murray scenes. Yeah. And so they took the best part and they replicated it
and it was
in a worse way.
Effect at best. Who was it for? Michelob Ultra?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so that for me, that's another big indicator of how good I think the commercials are, is how much I remember and associate the brand with the commercial. Yeah. Especially if I don't know who they are or what they do. If they don't tell me what they do, it's it's a waste.
That's what they did great with the Breaking Bad Popcorners one, because
it was so integrated into it.
Yeah, they say the name up front, and then later Walter says, "Say their name," and then they repeat it.
See, it's just clever writing.
It's great writing.
With the source material.
Yep.
Anyone who's in the advertising industry or who is looking to do marketing, you can ask yourself, for the creative that you're producing, if you're not as well known as M&M's or Miller Lite, you should probably have your concepts have some explanation of what the product does or what it is,
instead of just assuming that everybody's going to kind of get it.
The classic one we've used over the years is I think it's Stamps. Was it Stamps.com? See, now I can't even remember the example, but it was an example of to help you remember Stamps.com. We unleashed a pack of ravenous wolves on this marching band. And it's so funny because it's so violent.
It's so funny, but you don't know what it is.
But I can't.
You don't know what it's
I don't remember what it is. Is it Stamps.com?
No, it's computers. It's a computer something.
Okay, now I gotta look it up. I love this commercial. And I probably watched it I'm kid you not, because of Harmon Brothers and doing some research and just my own amusement.
Oh, it's so funny.
Probably 15 times.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
And I still don't know what the freak it's for.
Yeah, because it's just a bunch of wolves attacking a marching band on one of them.
Outpost.com.
Outpost.com.
I don't even know what Outpost.com does. And that's literally what the front of the ad says. In an effort to get people to remember our name, so they get a marching band to spell out Outpost.com.
So you might remember the name for a while, but you don't know what it's about.
It's such a good shot. It's the gates at the Kentucky Derby open up and all these wolves just come out. Just wanting to destroy.
Or just beasts being unleashed into the Coliseum.
After
the gladiators.
It's so poorly married to the actual like what the product does. So you got the computer stuff. I thought it was like postage.com or something like that. Or like you poststamps.com or whatever. Clearly that didn't work super effectively. It's like the pitfall of like some people when they think good advertising, they think like these high concept things that are super funny. But I think the hardest is when you marry a super funny concept to the product in a way that's super memorable. And not very many people can get away with not marrying it to the product in an integral way. And those people are usually Fortune 500 companies that are like very well-known consumer goods, you know, that have like, they're in the zeitgeist and people know, have a general awareness of what they do. So moral of the story, and to wrap this up, is make ads that have your creative very much so reinforcing what your product is or what it does in this as clever of a way as possible, because it'll make it more memorable and people will appreciate it more. And it'll actually ultimately drive more sales because they remembered what you are or what the advertising was about. Because otherwise you've missed the mark.
Absolutely. Hopefully we can get some better Super Bowl commercials in the future.
If you were in Philadelphia, Los Angeles, Chicago, or New York, you probably will have seen one of ours.
But it was the 30-second version, and the long version is way better.
But I will say that's the case with a lot of these ones. Like
that's true.
The Mr. Peanut Roast, Ryan, I looked this up before. How long was it?
Oh yeah, it's actually the extended version's like a comedy set.
It's so long.
I need to actually watch the whole thing. It's like 10 minutes or something.
Yeah, 11 minutes and 45 seconds. It's a full freaking roast. I don't know if the joke's gonna play for 12 minutes. Sometimes a longer form version, because there's a lot of when you see the extended cut online, which is definitely an option now in these days where people go search Super Bowl ads.
Yeah, with that Squarespace stuff, Adam Driver stuff. The extended stuff was way funnier.
Yeah, it was better. It was funnier. Make stuff that is centered on your product and it'll sell better, and integrate it in a clever way, and it'll stick more with people.
Totally.
Make it sticky. All right, guys. Until next time, thanks for joining us on Raising Unicorns.
Tired of playing catch up on your marketing approach? Plan your whole year of ad content with our video strategy in a day. The Harmon Brothers are known for their ad work with Lumi, Purple, and Skullshaver, and now we're offering a 20-minute video that helps you strategize your best profit-pushing ad research, messaging, and testing for free. Because a win for great businesses is a win for all of us. Go to harmonbrothers.com/video strategy to save future you a lot of stress with no pitch and nothing to buy.